so welcome everybody to our weekly meeting. I think we have a pretty light agenda. I think let's just go over asks that are outstanding. Hey, Ryan. And then I think we have a couple of specific items. I want to talk a little bit about dev days, just get organized on that, and then any other topics that folks might want to discuss. Oh, we do?
Yes, because guys decided to unify all repos for FHIR Foundation.
Oh, yeah. No, that, Yep, that's on the agenda. Okay, so just to kick it off, review of old business, just looking at the to-do. I have some to-dos to just socialize a little bit more on Zulip. I was thinking about, we wanted to have a time set for us to get together for some sessions at Dev Days. Looking at the schedule, I think Monday might be the best, Monday afternoon. Is that, are most folks getting in on Sunday or Monday morning? Just taking a quick poll of are most people coming in on Monday?
It works for me.
Okay. What about you, John? Good?
I'll be getting on Saturday evening. So, yep, Monday. And I think Monday's the only day really that we can do it because it's, as Nikolai said, it's sort of mostly tutorials and that sort of thing.
Yep. So let me set up some time. I'll take a look at the schedule. I think Dan has a talk Monday afternoon, but probably before that. I think his talk is later on Monday. So say 2 o'clock-ish, maybe something like that, just so we have a time and location we can advertise for folks. I think primarily we wanted to talk about Parquet. So we can have a sort of focused session about that, but it could be broader than that. So I will set that up for Monday afternoon. Yeah, I looked at the schedule and it's just jam-packed from then on. I think it'll be hard to collect a broad group. That's good. I want to get to some more spec work, but I think everyone is just so slammed before Dev Days that that's going to be hard. So we might not be able to have a milestone release at Dev Days. I think that's unlikely, but very soon after. That's my thought. Shared slide deck. So I'll put that together just for the implementation session. So just something simple. We discussed that last week. We want FHIR dinner at Dev Days. I don't know who wants to be part of the social committee. So we can think about that. Maybe Monday night might be a good night for that as well. So I know a lot of folks would be interested. So I can take a look at that. Nikolai, did you start a Zulip thread on the view definition builder, which we just got a demo of at NCQA, but I know that there's operations and APIs that are necessary. So I think that's on your plate next.
Yeah, so I'm gonna announce view builder on the dev days. Yeah, so I will show and this builder probably needs some REST API to storing view definitions and getting them, and maybe some operation to debug the view definition. That's probably the next topic after view definition we can discuss in the specification. But I think it should be quite straightforward. Yeah. So the first question may be that should our view definition be canonical resource? I think it should be. Yeah. And if it's canonical, then the CRMI stuff should be applicable to view definition. So and maybe we need a couple more debug custom dollar operations for that. I don't know. John, what do you think about this?
I think I need a demo. Sounds really cool.
Oh yeah, we probably have some time today once we get through some of this administrative stuff. I don't know if you're ready to do that.
Yeah, the guys, I don't know. So I want the creators of this stuff will do the demo, so they can do the demo on the next SQL on FHIR meeting. Okay. So they will come and then we can schedule we will skip the next week probably, yes, but after that they will come and officially stuff. Yeah, so I pre-chair and then let the creators to do the demo. The question is quite simple. Yeah, so the how the engine should get the view definitions. Are we gonna play with REST API, posting view definition, getting listing? So that's the main question. Are we gonna specify this in our spec, or we think it should be outside of specification? I know that, John, your puzzling do support it mimic the FHIR server, yeah, at some degree.
Yeah, well, is this just a FHIR API? I don't know. We haven't talked about how the view definition functionality maps onto the FHIR API. Maybe that's a discussion that we can have at some point. But I'd imagine that if it is a resource, then you can do sort of the SQL operations and then plus whatever other operations make sense.
So maybe let's discuss sketch some during dev days.
That's a good topic.
Yeah, it is as well related. I want to invite people to CRMI discussion, and it's going to be session. Yeah, I will send the link. So the CRMI, I don't know, everybody aware of this? So this is canonical resource management infrastructure. Essentially, it sounds quite simple. The guys are working on CRMI for SQL. to storing and retrieving artifacts, but it's quite easily can be generalized to any canonical resources. And if we treat the view definition as canonical resource, I think we can think that CRMI is applicable to view definition in SQL and FHIR. But it's quite straightforward. It's just a CRUD and search on canonical resources. They do have some additional operation like give me all dependencies, graph for this canonical, and they do have a packaging operation like package this stuff. That's probably not too interesting for us, but eventually maybe. So
Interesting. Are there any talks on that? You said there's a talk on that at Dev Days. Is that Brian's work?
Yeah. Brian will have a talk, and then we're gonna have a discussion session like about expanding CRMI. Yeah, because for now they essentially working on CRMI for SQL stuff like managing SQL artifacts. But I think it's quite natural to do one more step and expand it to every canonical resources. As well, I like this role idea, like in structured data capturing, guys are separated different roles. Let's say the form renderer role, the like, I don't know how it's called, like the questionnaire repository, and stuff like this. In our case, we can apply the same pattern. We can say that there should be a repo of view definitions, which can provide like FHIR CRUD API. And there could be the role of engine, yes, and maybe some additional roles as well. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. I think it's a good topic to discuss at Dev Days. I'm just kind of making a list of topics that I think would be great to discuss in person. So I'll put that on that list.
And maybe some context, because maybe not everybody understands. So yeah, we build this like view builder designer, so you can click. And the idea to connect this designer to different implementations, yes. And at that point, we need some standardized protocol to connect to different implementations. Yeah.
Great. So I'll note that in the sort of proposed agenda, just topic items for Dev Days. And, Brian obviously is going to be there too, so you can bring him in. And probably a lot of folks here are not that familiar with the CRMI work. I'm not too familiar with it either. So that would be good. You can get a little bit of a primer on that from Brian and folks. All right, view definition builder terminology work. That was another thing that we wanted to start socializing. Is that relevant at this point, Nikolai?
So it's just starting, yeah. So I think it may be too early for that. At least we have a name for this project. It's going to be called Babylon. Let's see, it'll go.
Definite progress to have a name. So that's a good start.
I'm mostly working now on recruiting people to the team, and there's a lot of ontologists are interested in standardizing this stuff. So yeah, I hope we will kick off it soon. So, and we have a dedicated team for that. So yeah.
Very cool. Great. Trying to take notes at the same time. All right, so that was the new to-dos. We have some old outstanding to-dos. I don't think we need to go through them. Just check in the post. Let's look here. I think just for the group, what we want to do is we have these 2 artifacts for the release milestone tag in GitHub and the review checklist. So check those out, take a look at them, see if you can help out with them. So that's all the old business or administrative work.
Yeah, I think the most sort of urgent thing for me is, the deck for the implementation showcase. So can we just sort of like even just create like a blank deck or something and share it, and somewhere where I can start dumping some slides, because I think we need to do that over the next couple of days.
Yeah, that's not a problem. I can take that on today right after the call and send it around.
Yeah, so just like a Google slide deck or something, would it be?
Yeah. I'll grab some of my template and like section slides or whatever, just and throw it in there. So we'll also have a little bit of consistency, but yeah, I'll do that later this afternoon.
Will we just be plugging in somebody's laptop, or do we have to give it to the organizers?
I don't know. Anybody given a Dev Days doc before? I haven't, so.
Yeah. Usually you can plug your laptop. So why are you asking, Joe? Do you want to do some live or thinking about recording video or making demo or?
No, not really, because I don't think that was the brief, right? We're supposed to be sticking on to use cases and that sort of thing. But I was just wondering, like, do we need to like finalize the deck and upload it to the Dropbox, or can we just have one of us put it up?
In my case, you can just connect like with your laptop at the last moment. So that usually works. They do provide the option when you can use like central computer from operators, but usually people just connect from their laptop. So if Arjun, we can send Arjun the last update.
Yeah, I think everyone will have the same copy, but yeah, I'll put together that template really quickly. I'll just grab some of the like header and intro stuff that I already have and I'll set that up right after the call today. I'm good.
Let's maybe decide who will work on README section by Graham recommendations. I don't know, Arjun, or who can handle this. Like
The README section.
yeah, so Graham again. So Graham is unifying all the FHIR Foundation projects. He sent the template. The guys want that all READMEs of all FHIR Foundation project looks similar. So and he sent couple. He sent the template and he sent the working example from real repo from IG Publisher or something like this, and somebody should just go through that and like port it to SQL on FHIR. I think it's important for Graham because he sent me like few messages about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm happy to take that on.
Yeah, please, if you can do this, that would be nice.
Yeah, I didn't see there was an update to it, to that thread, because did he send you the examples directly?
Yeah,
I don't see.
no, there should be link at the bottom. So he sent the link to IG Publisher or something like this. And yeah.
All right, I misread that. So I thought that was something else. I can take a crack at that and then socialize that with the team. So I'll just make a note for myself.
Oh, guys, please check the first versions of SQL on FHIR. So Graham said that he archived it. I asked it not to like preserve the link and all this stuff. He said it should work, but I didn't check. So please check that it's still on the place. I think the Google guys were interested, yes. And John, you have links to this first specification as well. I hope it works. So I tell him the story that we want to preserve the link, but it should be archived now. I hope it works.
As of right now, the link is working, so that's good at least. Thanks for mentioning that.
Great. All right. That sounds good. Great. Looking over. I think that's pretty much all I had for an agenda. Yeah. So couple of to do across the board, a couple for me, but I'll take care of them right away. But that's it for me. I'll just open the floor.
Thanks very much, Arjun, for all your organization work. Only thing I had was to sort of ask if there's anything else I can help with in terms of the slides or the session or anything else. I think you're on mute.
Oh, we had a pretty good structure from last time. Let me grab my notes again. From last week, we thought of, for the implementation session, we thought of having a structure, and I'll put like an example that we can copy from. So like title slide, primary use case, system architecture diagram, if you have one, and then sort of our solution. So just like 4 slides each, maybe a little bit extra if you want to add to that. But yeah, I can set up the template pretty quickly on that. That's all I have for that session. And then Ryan is doing one session and then Nikolai is doing another session. So in terms of sessions, I think if you guys are starting to get your decks together and, John could review them or take a look at them. That's my thought.
Yeah, do we have two questions. One is do we have the shared deck already? I don't know if it has been shared and we are supposed to add other slides. That's one thing. The other one is let's also agree on maybe how much time each of us will spend, because I suppose there would be like an intro by June and then there would be several implementations and there would be and the total time I think is 45 minutes. Is that right? Yeah, then I guess each of us will get, I don't know, 7 minutes, something like that.
Yeah. It's pretty brief.
Yeah, I think 5 minutes. That's good. Limit elevator pitch. Yeah.
Sure. I just posted in the chat the schedule that we sketched out. And then, so if I could maybe be just 1 minute and then, 5 minutes each. Maybe we hold the questions at the end because that might go off on a tangent potentially, and then sort of have a round table for questions at the end. That sound good? All right, I'll make a note of that. But Bashir, we don't have the deck yet. I think I'll be able to do it. I'll do it by the end of the day today. Sure.
So I think maybe one topic to sync on is what sort of messaging we want to share. People are inevitably going to ask like, when is 1.0 or the status of this coming? And it seems like we're like on the brink of it. I doubt we'll have like everything. There's a few small lingering things. I doubt we'll have it like out next week. I'm inclined to like say the messaging that the 1.0 is orders of a small number of weeks away, and maybe leave it at that. But I don't know if we should probably be consistent there. So what do folks think on terms of when we're asked when is the milestone landing?
Yeah, I think we should set this milestone for ourselves because we're not yet decided. We were thinking about some milestone for previous Connectathon, yes, but we kind of missed this. So, and not everybody was there. So I don't know. So let's decide. So the next Connectathon is going to be on September. So if we can release it by the end of summer, I think it's reasonable. Yeah. What do you think?
It seems very, from a spec perspective, it seems very reasonable to me. I mean, I'm just looking at the blockers that we have for the V2.0 milestone, and they all seem quite minor.
So let's maybe vote for the date and then like work to that date with the
Okay.
release.
Yeah, so I guess like we can just answer that. It's coming that we expect a 1.0 like over the summer and leave it at that. I don't think we need to be more granular than that, and we'll figure it out from there.
That works. I was thinking, we do something like end of July if we wanted to be more specific. Give ourselves 6-7 weeks. Any thoughts
Yeah, all
about
the
that?
issues that I see are there like 2 column orderings and 3 test related. So yeah, I don't see any reason why we can have a V1 version by end of July.
Yeah, I think it's all straightforward from my perspective, except for this column ordering thing. And the only reason that that's not straightforward is because I haven't dived into the reference implementation to understand why it doesn't quite work as we've agreed. So yeah, I just need to carve out the time to figure that out. But all the rest of it, I think, is mostly sort of editorial and review and that sort of thing. So it could probably be finalized in a couple of weeks. But I agree with Arjun. Like, I think we should set a date.
Like good for the team, like July 31st, end of July, or August 1st, maybe end of July, July 31st. So we can say coming in July to the Dev Days crowd. So, I mean, I agree with John. I think I haven't looked into, if we're comfortable with the release date end of July, obviously we can talk with the broader team that's also at Dev Days on that. So we can sort of pick that either amongst ourselves or with that whole crew on Monday, let's say, and just say like, okay, this is the date. So I would suggest that as a process since we don't have the whole team with us. So I'll make a note of that. And then I had a question going through just the copy. It's in a charmingly casual style, right? So I don't know. I was just cleaning up some of the grammar, spelling in some sections, and I was like, should we perhaps make this slightly more formal and more, kind of standards like? I don't know. I wanted to ask you guys what you thought of that.
I don't think we should. Yeah. So I like the informal style. I don't know. So I don't know why people think if it's standard, it should be written like with I don't know, hard to read.
I was just going to say that there's sort of a language style, but there's also just consistency. So, I think we could be more consistent in some cases, like if you want to make something a requirement and you really want to say that in the same way each time. And that's why, people use things like must and may and that sort of thing. But I think, yeah, there is probably still a bit of a gap in the editorial just in overall consistency. I don't think it has to be overly formal in tone, but I think it just needs to be consistent and not ambiguous in any way.
I mean, I think everyone would agree with that. Yeah, I don't mean to say that it should be this like heavyweight, super formal specification, but we said like, here are some things that are going to happen. Just looking at the first page, like a little, I think just like a slight tweak to make it, I think maybe a little more explicit in places might not hurt. So I might go through and just some of I think just style, like a little bit of style cleanup wouldn't hurt. Also, I might go through and make a pass where it hard wraps like 78 columns. I don't know if that was annoying me a little bit because like some of the lines go on quite a lot. So if you guys are not averse to that, I might just go through and like wrap it so the white space is consistent. Everybody good with that? So that's what I was thinking. So just sort of like wrapping, maybe going through and just like tweaking some of the language. But I like informal style as well. Like I think there's some really great specs that are written really clearly, without this heavyweight sort of jargon. So I think that's the goal for this spec as well, and useful, but just making things a little tighter and more consistent in places. And definitely if there are places where there's sort of important inconsistencies, I think that's what John is getting at, where like using different words or different phrases for what we mean, that probably could be tightened up in places too. That reminds me, and I couldn't think of like a natural place. I was trying to look at some other IGs if they had a similar glossary or terms section or something like that. Do you mind if you could take a look at that, then I can place it in a place that is not going to be just totally wrong and have to redo.
I mean, I guess the overview page, like, but I don't know. It's like we could add another tab, I guess, for terms or glossary. I mean, other than that, yeah, I don't know. It fits great. I mean, we could do an overview page, or we could do it in the view definition itself, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't really have like a natural fit, unfortunately, I think. And, the overview page, it could go there, right? Kind of, it's important, I think, to have standardized glossary or just consistent terms at the kind of early on. So I could put it sort of at the bottom there. And I noticed a couple of things that could be like we have sort of non-goals in 2 sections and things like that. So when I take a pass at this, I have some local changes. I'll definitely put it up as a PR and let folks know what I'm doing so that everyone can get their eyes on it. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I still think the heading for the implementer guidance heading is wrong. Like, I think that should be named something different, like processing model or something, because I think it sort of doesn't communicate the importance of that section, but that's just me. I feel like it either needs to be part of view definition or we need to change the name of it to processing model or something, just to make it more obvious that this is part of the semantics.
Processing model probably makes sense. Yeah, I think that originally implementer guidance was intended to be like a more general section that would contain other content as well. But yeah, clearly it's being gone beyond that.
Yeah, any other thoughts on that naming change? It seems reasonable to me because it goes essentially straight into the processing model, right? It doesn't have that generalized implementation guidance anymore. So I think if everyone is okay with that, at least we can, put up a PR so that we can share that with other folks who might be interested in the spec construction and, rapidly iterate that.
Yeah, and just in general, I think everyone should just feel free if there's something that you want that looks like it may need improvement, like putting together a PR and building upon that makes a lot of sense to me.
Right. Yeah. So look forward to that for me, gets to the layers, gets to sort of a sample introduction, then layers, maybe add a glossary, short glossary there, and then the purpose page. Maybe it doesn't have as much overlap as I thought. Yeah. Any other thoughts? This is kind of thoughts that ran through my head when I was starting to look at this. But yeah, anybody I think could put up a PR and we can discuss. So that's all my questions for the spec. Any other thoughts on spec work or narrative work? No? Okay. All right. I'll just open it up again. Yeah. Any other topics we want to take on today? Let's finish today. I'll put up those decks. So, okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
See you all soon.
Yeah. See you all soon.
All right.